May 1997. This video is part of the string of videos I made for the new astronomy year of 2010. Brand new year, more brand new astronomy events. So, there's one main video to this string, and that would be Astronomy 2010, that video. And it includes all the major astronomy events of 2010. And then I'm also making videos that give additional information on a set of events. And this particular video is for meteor showers. If you watched the 2010 astronomy video, you would hear that the Quadrantids meteor shower, that's what we're starting out with, which is going on now. It peaks January 3rd. The meteors per hour is 100 to 125. Percentage of the moon that will be illuminated at this time will be 93% of it. That will cause some interference with the fainter meteors. Time of peak is 17:04 Universal Time. We're using the 24-hour clock, and I will do time conversions for at your request if you need it. I will tell you that it will not be visible in the USA because it'll be in the daylight hours at 17:04 Universal Time. It'll probably be around noon. It just depends in your area. For my area, it'll be around noon when it peaks. So, if you live like in Africa, Europe, and Asia, somewhere around there, you're in luck. You will be in the shadow of the earth at nighttime, and meteors will be easy to see at night. So you're in luck. However, because of the meteoroid trail is so thin and inclined to Earth's path of orbit, the peak the 100 to 125 an hour only lasts 5 to 8 hours of that time. So try to get out there as soon as you can. It peaks again at 17:04 Universal Time, and any times before or after that, it just kind of falls rapidly down. January 4th won't be bad to see it. We'll probably see around 20 an hour, but still. So if you need additional information about any of these meteor showers, leave a comment and I'll try to answer it for you. Alright, Lyrids. Lyrids meteor shower. Peaks on April 22nd, 2010. Meteors per hour, it'll be a more minor shower, 15 to 20. Percentage of the moon illuminated, 18. That won't be a whole lot of interference. The time of peak, 17:03 Universal Time. That's just 1 minute behind Quadrantids, actually. So in the US, it'll be daylight, but the peak is more broad. It usually lasts up until midnight or afterwards that night. Alright. Eta Aquarids, a stronger shower, peaks on May 6th. Meteors per hour will be 55 to 70. Percentage of the moon illuminated, 52. Which that will interfere somewhat. Time of peak is at 6 o'clock Universal Time, with 6 o'clock using the 24-hour clock. So it should be dark in the US. It'll be light in the Middle East. So if you live in the northwestern hemisphere, you should be in luck. It's a pretty decent shower. It's not very hard to see. The peak lasts several hours. So it's pretty easy to see. South Delta Aquarids, the peak is not certain, but they're guessing around July 28th is when they're estimating it peaks. Meteors per hour, 15 to 25. Percentage of the moon illuminated, 97, which that will interfere majorly. Time of peak is unknown. They don't have accurate information about the peak of this. So, we just have to wait and see on that. Perseids meteor shower. A lot of sky gazers and meteor observers go out on the peak of the Perseids to watch it. It's a very popular shower in the northern hemisphere because it produces nice outbreaks every year. So this year the Perseids peaks August 13th especially. It's a 2-day peak. So for 2 days in a row, the meteors will range from 100 to 130 an hour. Pretty strong. It could be the 12th, I think it's the 12th and the 13th, or it could be the 13th and the 14th. Either way, it's a long-lasting shower, too. And it's pretty active for several days. 12% of the moon will be illuminated, which that's much better than it was in 2009. So it'll be little interference. Time of peak is at 4 o'clock exactly, universal time, 24-hour clock. So you'll have to get up in the wee hours, just like last year, to view it. It'll probably be, in my area, it'll probably be 2 or 3 in the morning when it peaks. But again, the peak lasts for 2 days. Alright, so the Orionids peaks on October 22nd. Meteors per hour, 20 to 27. Percentage of the moon, it's just before full moon, 99%. Major interference. So try to face away from the moon when you view this. 6 o'clock universal time. Exactly. The peak is pretty broad. It lasts many, many hours. I think it's just over a day long of peak. But it's a pretty decent shower. The Taurids. Now the Taurids are a very, very long meteor shower. They last usually around 2.5 months. It's associated from mainly Comet Encke, yeah. It's most meteors come from Comet Encke, but there's many more comets and minor planets that help the Taurids. So you have the northern and the southern Taurids. The southern Taurids peaks on November 5th, the southern on November 11th. Meteors per hour will be up to 15 on both of them. Southern Taurids, for the moon phase, percentage of the moon illuminated for the southern Taurids will be 2, just after new moon. And for the northern Taurids, 25. Time of peak is unknown. So it's a pretty broad peak. The peak actually lasts several days. There's several days of active activity. But during non-active periods, it'll be about 5 or less meteors. So you'll have to go on November 5th and November 11th is when you can see 15, up to 15. Leonids 2010. Last year's Leonids was awesome. There was a nice outburst. It wasn't a meteor storm, but it was a nice outburst. And again, it peaks on November 17th again. Meteors per hour will be variable. On November 17th, it'll be from what I last saw, there's a wide range of possible meteors per hour on the peak. It could be as low as 40. It could be as high as 130. So it's a very variable. Percentage of the moon is 79% that will interfere moderately. How much time do we have left? Oh, look for part 2. I'm running out of time.